Welcome to the Explainer. Today, we're jumping straight into a massive, frankly, game-changing update that's turning heads all across the industry. I'm talking about Google Flow 2.0. Look, as professional filmmakers, we know the drill. AI video tools have always been full of promise, right? But the second you try to put them through a rigorous, actual production pipeline, they just kind of fall apart. Well, today we are unpacking how Flow 2.0 finally bridges that gap between a cool novelty and a genuinely scalable, reliable post-production workflow. Let's kick things off by confronting what is arguably the ultimate continuity nightmare for creators right now. How on earth do you keep an AI character consistent across a multi-scene short film? Until now, these models had this terrible habit of just morphing your lead actor's face every single time the camera coverage changed. It's incredibly frustrating, but Flow 2.0 actually has an answer for this, and we're going to break down exactly how it works. So here is our professional production roadmap for today. Section 1, we'll cover the AI filmmaking shift. Section 2, automating scene creation. Section 3 is all about solving character consistency. Section 4 dives into cinematic polish with Pro Tools. And finally, Section 5, building custom workflow utilities. Let's get right into it. Section 1, the AI filmmaking shift, moving from a novelty to a scalable pipeline. Think about the old workflow. It was exhausting. You were constantly brainstorming, writing these hyper-specific prompts for single isolated shots, and rendering them out one by agonizing one. Well, the new workflow completely delegates that heavy lifting. Enter the Flow AI agent. It basically acts like your digital first assistant director. It just sits right there in your dashboard, ready to handle complex multi-step tasks and even batch edits across your entire project. It's a massive shift in how we work. All right, Section 2, automating scene creation. Let's look at taking your project from script to screen with Flow AI. Picture this. You're doing previs for a big shoot. An expert filmmaker might use a prompt exactly like this one to test out different visual styles. You literally just ask the agent for 3 distinct looks, say 3D, anime, and claymation, all in one go. The AI basically steps in as your concept artist. It analyzes your simple request and then works behind the scenes to engineer highly optimized, complex background prompts for each specific aesthetic. Now, let's talk logistics. Generating a 4-second video using the Gemini Omni model costs 15 credits. And here's a crucial detail. Before the agent spends those credits, it actually pauses for your approval. While there is an auto-approve toggle you could flip, as a professional, you really need to treat this like a real production budget. If you leave it unchecked, an enthusiastic AI agent can absolutely over-generate coverage and just burn through your project's resources in a flash. But when you manage it correctly, this automation is like having an instant rough cut assembly. You know how the Gemini Omni model alone is capped at those 10-second clips? Well, when you pair the AI agent with Omni, or VO 3.1, the agent actually comprehends your entire script. It generates the necessary B-roll and coverage, and then stitches it all together. You are completely bypassing standard length limitations here. It's pretty incredible for long-form projects. Moving on to Section 3, solving character consistency. This is quite literally the holy grail of AI video. So you can upload an actual actor's headshot, or generate a totally new talent profile from scratch. But if you're generating, your prompt strategy is absolutely vital here. You need to specifically request that the face be clearly shown. Why? Because an unobstructed, well-lit face gives the model the critical anchor data it needs. It uses that data to lock in the facial geometry for the rest of your entire shoot. And here is the payoff. Once that character is saved to your library, they are locked in for continuity. In a recent test, the agent generated the exact same night from 3 totally unique camera angles, plus a really complex action shot of him riding a horse. The result? Flawless facial and wardrobe consistency. The agent seamlessly retrieves your digital actor and drops them into any setup you want, keeping your continuity perfectly intact. No more morphing. But hey, consistency isn't just visual, right? You can actually lock in their audio persona too, making sure they sound absolutely identical in every single take. You just start by selecting a foundation voice, maybe a lower-pitched, informative male voice from the stock library. Then, you add a modifier prompt, something like 25 years old with a deep British accent. Save that, link it to your character, and boom, your digital actor is fully prepped for the timeline. Okay, let's hit Section 4, Cinematic Polish with Pro Tools. We're talking granular control right inside Flow 2.0. So, you no longer need to round-trip all your footage over to Premiere or DaVinci Resolve just for basic DI work. Flow now includes a blur slider to give you true depth of field, granular contrast controls, and saturation tweaks that basically act as an instant color grade.
You can even lay out title cards directly on the image using the default Google Sans font, complete with full tracking and leading controls. It is a massive time saver.
And this next feature, absolute magic for post-production. It's called Enable Depth, and it actually analyzes the real 3D Z-space of your flat 2D image. By just tweaking the depth offset slider, it dynamically tucks your text behind foreground elements in the shot. Think about it. Achieving this kind of dynamic title placement used to require hours of tedious manual rotoscoping and masking in After Effects. Now, it's literally a one-click slider.
Finally, Section 5, Building Custom Workflow Utilities. This is where we get into vibe coding with Flow tools.
Right out of the gate, you get access to a fantastic community library of tools built by other editors and VFX artists. You've got a simple sketch tool for generating storyboards from rough box outlines, which is great. But honestly, tools like Shot Explorer, Mask Magic, and Shadow Fix, those are the real workhorses. They're tailor-made to iron out those annoying little micro-glitches that usually bottleneck an AI post-production workflow. But it gets better. You can actually engineer your own custom plugins without writing a single line of code. Just imagine typing a prompt, asking the AI to build a tool that converts any uploaded image into a clay animation style. The AI agent immediately generates a custom utility button right on your dashboard. You just drop your reference frames into it, and it automatically restylizes the footage using the Nano Banana Pro processor running on the backend. It's kind of mind-blowing. And look, if your stop-motion look isn't totally flawless on the very first pass, you aren't stuck. You can simply open up the backend of the tool you just vibe coded and tweak the text instructions. You can even feed it specific reference frames to lock in the exact specific flavor of claymation you need. It makes your plugin infinitely customizable to match your film's exact aesthetic. Well, that brings us to the end of our explainer. We've seen firsthand how delegating tasks to AI agents, locking down your continuity, and utilizing these built-in Pro tools can totally transform a chaotic process into a reliable, scalable filmmaking pipeline. So I want to leave you with this. Now that you can literally build your own software without knowing how to code, what custom utility are you going to vibe code to clear the biggest bottleneck in your personal post-production workflow?